Dragon is in countdown. Falcon 9 is in startup. Dragon, SpaceX, go for launch.
You are looking at a live view of Falcon 9 and Dragon awaiting liftoff from Launch Complex 39A.
Stage 2 fuel load is complete.
At NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida. In just under 20 minutes, Falcon 9 will launch carrying Dragon and CRS-32 to the International Space Station. Good evening, I'm Yomei Zhou, a lead propulsion engineer here at SpaceX in Hawthorne, California. Dragon will deliver about 6,700 pounds of science, supplies, and equipment to the space station and will return with about 4,000 pounds in about a month. It's the only vehicle flying today that can fly a round trip to and from the space station, carrying vital supplies to space and returning safely with critical cargo. Dragon will arrive at the space station and dock autonomously to the zenith port of the station's Harmony module on Tuesday. It's Dragon's second trip to the International Space Station this year after Crew 10 launched last month. This is our 52nd Dragon mission overall and the 47th to the space station, with 31 of those on reflown Dragons. Propellant loading began today about 15 minutes ago and will complete at the T-minus 2 minute mark. Range is green and ready to support. Weather is looking good with only a 5% probability of violation. Everything is looking great as we count down to an instantaneous launch attempt at 4:15 a.m. Eastern Time today. With that, let's check in with my NASA counterpart, Joseph Zukshevsky at Johnson Space Center in Houston. Hi, Joseph.
Hello, Yomei. It's great to see you again. We are joining you from the International Space Station Flight Control Room here at NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. This is where mission operations are coordinated 24/7 to ensure the health, safety, and success of the orbiting laboratory. And it's an exciting place to be during a launch like this morning's. Right now, our flight control team, led by Flight Director Diane Daly, and the Horizon flight team are actively monitoring all systems aboard the International Space Station as we prepare to receive the delivery of cargo and science on Dragon. And Dragon's ultimate destination, of course, is the International Space Station, and the entire team here in Houston is working closely with you and the team in Hawthorne, California, and the launch team at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida to ensure everything is on track. This level of coordination across multiple teams, time zones, and specialties is what makes missions like these possible. At this hour, I'm happy to report that all systems are looking good, and the team here in Mission Control is go for launch. The space station is currently orbiting more than 250 miles above Earth, and the Expedition 73 crew, including NASA astronauts Anne McClain, Nicole Ayers, and Johnny Kim, are prepped and ready for Dragon's arrival. They've reviewed all the procedures, configured equipment, and are well rested for what will be a busy day on orbit today and tomorrow when Dragon is expected to dock. This delivery includes thousands of pounds of supplies, critical hardware, and scientific investigations that will keep the crew busy and support ongoing research. We'll be watching closely here as the countdown continues and the mission gets underway. For now, I'll turn it back to Hawthorne for a closer look at the launch vehicle and spacecraft supporting this Commercial Resupply Services mission. Take it away, Yome.
Thanks, Joseph. As we continue to count down, let's take a closer look at the vehicles that will be taking CRS-32 to the space station today. Sitting atop the Falcon 9, Dragon and its trunk stand over 27 feet tall. The spacecraft is headed for the Zenith docking port on the station that was just vacated by Crew 9, which returned home a few weeks ago. Dragon's trunk holds solar cells that provide power while it's in free flight.
Launch load has started.
The trunk can also carry unpressurized cargo, which it will be doing today. There are 16 Draco thrusters on board that can be used in space to help navigate the spacecraft to its destination, each providing about 90 pounds of force. Dragon has played a significant role in advancing our future in space by safely transporting crew and cargo to and from the station. There are currently 4 Dragon spacecraft supporting human spaceflight missions that have docked to the station. Their names are Endeavour, Resilience, Endurance, and Freedom. And we have an additional 3 Dragon supporting cargo missions, one of which is the one supporting today's mission. CRS-32 will be delivered to orbit today on SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket, which provides 1.7 million pounds of thrust on its first stage thanks to its 9 Merlin M1D engines. Today's booster last flew in March for the NROL-69 mission and also flew a Starlink mission in February. Once the first and second stages separate, the Merlin engines are also used to help land the first stage back on Earth. Today, the booster will be attempting to land at Landing Zone 1, just down the road from the launch pad. Meanwhile, the second stage will continue to orbit, powered by one single Merlin vacuum engine with over 220,000 pounds of thrust. The second stage will secure Dragon's entry into low Earth orbit before separating, leaving Dragon to continue its journey on its own thrusters. About 50 seconds after separation, Dragon's nose cone deploy sequence will begin, exposing its guidance navigation controls that help Dragon autonomously fly to the space station. With T0 coming up in just under 15 minutes, our teams in Florida are doing a series of system checks to ensure Dragon and Falcon 9 are ready to fly. While the countdown continues, let's talk about a new capability Dragon has in development. Last year, during CRS-31, Dragon successfully performed a reboost test for NASA that demonstrated Dragon's ability to change the station's orbit, increasing the station's altitude over the course of about 12 minutes. The maneuver changed the station's velocity by the planned 0.27 meters per second and gathered data on Dragon's propulsion system performance, overall loads, and dynamics on both station and Dragon. That test helped inform what we're planning for CRS-33, where Dragon will fly an extended mission and repeat the reboost demo with a modified trunk called the Boost Trunk. This modified trunk will give Dragon the ability to change the station's velocity by up to 10 meters per second. Testing these added capabilities will provide NASA with additional options for station operations in the upcoming years. Findings from these tests will also directly inform our efforts to build the U.S. deorbit vehicle for NASA. The deorbit vehicle will perform a critical burn to deorbit the laboratory at the end of its planned service life. But right now, station is not going anywhere, so let's get back to our mission in progress and check back in with Joseph at JSC.
Thanks, Yome, and that's right. The International Space Station is truly in its golden era of research and exploration. For nearly 25 years, it stood as a symbol of what's possible through collaboration and innovation. Since November 2nd of the year 2000, humans have lived and worked aboard the orbiting laboratory continuously, pushing the boundaries of human spaceflight and scientific discovery. This station has welcomed more than 280 people from around the world and supported over 4,000 research investigations leading to breakthroughs in medicine, materials, and technology that benefit life on Earth and future of missions deeper into space. It's inspired millions of students through education programs and demonstrated the strength of international partnerships. As we look ahead to the 25th anniversary of continuous human presence this November, the space station remains a powerful example of what humanity can achieve together. With future commercial space stations on the horizon and missions to the Moon and Mars and beyond underway, the discoveries made here continue to shape the future of space exploration. The International Space Station, 25 years of innovation, discovery, and enduring spirit of exploration.
And liftoff. International Space Station is underway.
We are in the golden age of the space station right now in terms of the return on investment and what we're able to do there.
One of the great legacies of the space station is not just going to be science, but very importantly, the international cooperation. This is perhaps most prominent, international cooperation for exploration.
SpaceX is proud to have been a part of missions to stations since the COTS demo Flight 2 mission in 2012. Since 2019, Dragon crews have splashed down off the Florida coast, but now all Dragon recovery operations are returning to the West Coast and will take place off the coast of California. This ensures that Dragon's trunk, when jettisoned during re-entry, will enter over the Pacific Ocean. There are 3 sites supported by SpaceX located off the coast of Southern California, including Los Angeles, Oceanside, and San Diego. Spreading the supported sites across multiple locations helps to maximize the return opportunities for Dragon missions. SpaceX's first human spaceflight mission and first mission overall to splash down off the West Coast was From 2, which happened just a couple weeks ago on April 4th. We are routinely looking to innovate and improve, and we use data to help inform these decisions. The Dragon launching today carries some key data-driven upgrades, including the first drogues, which are small parachutes that deploy right before the larger parachutes during re-entry, were built entirely in-house by SpaceX. There are 2 drogue chutes on each Dragon, which each take about 500 hours to manufacture and another 100 hours to pack and be ready for flight. That's about 4 months of work. SpaceX helps reduce the cost of space flight and increase reliability by bringing manufacturing in-house, which allows us to improve components like drogues faster and more efficiently. Over the last 5 years, Dragon has supported 17 human spaceflight missions and flown 66 crew members representing more than a dozen countries. With the capacity to carry up to 4 passengers, Dragon has proven to be a versatile spacecraft. It can autonomously dock to the space station when outfitted with the ISS docking adapter you can see on the left, and then it can also be configured with hardware to support panoramic views or a spacewalk, which made its debut on the Polaris Dawn mission last year. In free flyer mode, which refers to missions that orbit Earth and do not dock with the station, the docking adapter can be swapped out for a cupola, as you can see from our recent From 2 mission. So far, SpaceX and Dragon have carried more than 1,000 research experiments to and from low Earth orbit, both to the International Space Station and on our free flyer missions. Our next crew mission to station will be the upcoming Axiom 4 mission, which is scheduled to launch no earlier than next month, May. It will feature the most research and science-related activities conducted on an Axiom space mission to date, featuring around 60 scientific studies. From DNA sequencing to 3D printing, studies enabled by Dragon and the space station test a variety of technologies, systems, and materials that will be needed for future long-duration exploration missions. Every mission yields critical research and learnings that help make life both on Earth and in space better. And speaking of research experiments, I'm going to send you back to Joseph for details on some of the science experiments that Dragon will be taking to the station today.
Thank you, Yome. And that's right, continuing scientific discovery is enabled by missions like this morning. Dragon is carrying over 3 tons of cargo, including critical scientific hardware and samples. The microgravity environment aboard the International Space Station offers a unique platform to observe physical and biological phenomena and serves as a testbed for advancing technologies that benefit life on Earth and support future exploration deeper into space. The science aboard Dragon represents months and in some cases years of preparation by dedicated scientists and engineers. Here are some of the highlights of what's inside Dragon today.
NASA and SpaceX are set to launch the 32nd Resupply Services mission to the International Space Station, carrying science investigations to further NASA's missions to deep space and benefit life on Earth. Smartphone Video Guidance Sensor 2 will use the space station's Astrobi robots to demonstrate a vision-based sensor. This technology can improve the accuracy of guidance, navigation, and control systems for future missions on the Moon or Mars. DNA Nanotherapeutics Mission 2 evaluates in-space manufacturing of 3 Janus-based nanomaterials. The ability to manufacture these materials in microgravity could lead to a sustainable, cost-effective process for manufacturing drugs in space. The Atomic Clock Ensemble in Space, known as ACES, will examine fundamental physics concepts using 2 next-generation atomic clocks operated in microgravity and will test the technology for synchronizing clocks worldwide. Results may apply to scientific studies of measurement, the search for dark matter, and fundamental physics research that relies on highly accurate atomic clocks in space. The Aerosol Monitors investigation will test 3 different air quality monitors designed to detect airborne particles, like dust, that must be kept within safe ranges for crew health and hardware performance. Results will inform NASA's selection of the best device suited for future missions to the Moon and Mars. New industrial crystallization cassette hardware will add capabilities to an existing protein crystallization facility aboard the space station. This allows the processing of more sample types, including golden nanospheres, which can be used in devices that detect cancer and other diseases, or in targeted drug delivery systems. A new plant experiment will examine the
liftoff. NASA's SpaceX-32 Commercial Resupply Services mission is on its way to the International Space Station, carrying over 3 tons of science.
Liftoff. Go, Falcon, go.